Okay, go for it.
All right. Thank you for joining us. I am your Uncle Opie of Utah Doesn't Exist, UDX. And today I have the privilege of being able to host Filmlite Media's official first episode ever of their podcast. And our first guest ever of this groundbreaking event is amazing filmmaker, actor, and host of Ogden's Big Lebowski Festival, Mr. Ryan McDonald. How are you, brother?
Doing great, man. Yeah, appreciate you having me. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be episode 1. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you guys for keeping me in mind.
No, thank you for
Appreciate
coming. It's good to finally meet you in person.
Yeah.
So you are the writer and director of the feature film Left for Dead, which is currently in post-production right now, right?
Correct, yeah. Yeah,
That's
we
amazing.
are. So we are at the tail end of our journey with this movie, so before it goes on for hopefully festivals and the year of that.
Yeah.
So we've done all of the ADR work with our actors. Now we're just ironing out the score, the coloring, and the sound mix, and then we should be wrapped up. So
how long did that take you guys to film? When did you start that one?
let's see. So we started that. It overall was 17 days. I really thought it was probably gonna be like 10 or 12.
Right.
But in the end, it turned out to 17 days plus a day of pickup shots as well. It was something I had the idea a while back. A year ago, we made a short film with BJ Wimpy, a producing friend, Danielle Bendinelli. They also happen to be a couple as well.
Nice.
And we made a short film that is called Convicts and Chocolate. It's one that my wife, Brandy McDonald, wrote and directed as well.
I've seen that, actually.
Yeah. Because it was at Zetfest,
Yeah.
I think. Or no, it was also at the Utah Film Festival.
Yeah, it's amazing.
As well. So, so we made that, and I've worked with BJ on a handful of other Star Wars parody kind of films that we've been doing as well. He cosplays as Senator Palpatine.
That's awesome.
There's a whole YouTube following for that. And so we were driving out to Wendover, which is where, because for Convicts and Chocolate, because it's a Con Air Forrest Gump parody.
Right.
Part of the locations, and plus it was also for the Carbon County Film Festival, so it was provided to the idea that you had to shoot it in Utah, and it was with with movies stylized that were shot in Utah. Forrest Gump was partially shot in Utah, down in Monument Valley, and then Con Air was also shot
at the
as
hangar,
well.
right?
Yeah, at the hangar. So my father-in-law is a stuntman, and he'd worked previously on Con Air as well. So we went out to, they still have the exterior of the airplane that's in the movie, the exterior is still sitting there, and we got permission to go shoot on to the Jailbird airplane, our parody film. And it was somewhere in that drive, I just started thinking this idea. I wanted to do another feature film. I was thinking of the story, but maybe what if there's just a guy, because you're trying to think like budget conscious, and so I was like, so if I just have a guy, and he's living alone in this world that something happened, and then one day he sees that he's being like followed by another guy, and he's being slowly chased out through the desert. And I kind of came up with that idea for the movie from like Ogden to Wendover, and it kind of just sat with me. And then by the time we met at the Utah Film Festival, by January, so that was in like August of 2024. So by January 2025, I was starting to think, I was like, I might actually, every feature script I tried writing, I failed at some point. Like, they run out of gas around 40 pages or so.
Yeah, I get you. I do the same thing.
And I was like, so I just had to pivot off of it, and I was like, I'm gonna write Left for Dead, and just go with that. And one of the other tactics I did was I stopped like going back and doing rewrites. I just went all the way to the end, and I finally like completed the script, and then went through and did the rewrites, because I find that if I get to like 20 pages in and I start combing back a little bit and going, I start going in these different directions that I probably shouldn't have. It was just easier
than you
to
originally intended.
Yeah, and the story gets kind of stuck and locked, and so
I get you. So it's a sci-fi film then?
Well,
like post-apocalyptic. I don't know how much you want me to reveal. But
no, it's fine. I mean, it's a post-apocalyptic Western, but I can be honest with you, we don't reveal why we're in an apocalypse, or like what happened or anything like that.
Like there's no like, there was a virus or something like that.
Exactly, yeah, because it could be lazy, or it could just be like, I just feel like whatever explanation I'm going to come up with is not going to really matter to the story that I'm trying to tell.
I get you.
Like it just, and sometimes I think those things can be distracting.
It does, actually.
Yeah, so even when we're going to go make the movie, questions came up from other people who are part of the crew or actors, as far as like, so is there a point where we like talk about this? And I'm like, no.
I think it's better that way. Leave it up to imagination, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's kind of like that, but it kind of Western stylized a little bit more, and And there are no zombies. That comes up a lot as well. And I don't know if it's just a Utah thing, but for some reason, every post-apocalyptic movie has, like you said, like a virus.
Yeah.
It turns people into
zombies. And then, the Walking
kind of
Dead. And it's kicked to death, the zombie thing, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's oversaturated for sure.
I think it's more interesting without zombies. Zombies might be like a scapegoat or something like that people use. They're like, oh, we don't got nothing to fill in here, so zombies. You know what I mean?
Zombies it is, yeah. And that, so I took about 10 weeks to write it. I put a goal out there, and I did it. I threw it in front of BJ, Danielle, and my wife Brandy, who's also a filmmaker, like I said, with Convicts and Chocolate.
Nice.
And I'm pretty open about just tell me where it sucks. Let's work this out. And so we came to some pain points, and so it's like, okay, cool, revise that. But I was already in the direction idea of like, we're gonna try to crowdfund this movie. Let's raise the funds for it. My first feature film was out of my back pocket, and I don't want to do that with this film.
Yeah.
So then we did a 60-day Indiegogo campaign. We were able to raise just over $8,000.
Nice.
For the money. We really probably could have used like 12, but
of course.
Or anything more than that. But the goal was still set that we were going to run off and make a movie. So then by the end of July, we started shooting, and like I said, there was like between mostly weekends, but there were some weekdays in there, and about 17 days worth. We kind of finished just after September.
Just burning it. Just keep going, man. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
There was one week where we did, because it was like Labor Day weekend as well. So we shot 7 out of 10 days.
Hell yeah. That's incredible.
And that was a lot, but
and like full 12-hour days.
And because we're an indie film, so everybody like this is like they have a survival job.
Yeah,
they have to go back to.
You have to.
Yeah. I was fortunate in the sense that I didn't for this time around. I've always had a 9-to-5, but then the company I was working with for all these years and years, there was a riff. I was part of that. And that was kind of an opportunity. My wife was very supportive. She looked at me and just like, maybe this is that moment.
Yeah, unfortunate news to, turn it into something positive.
Yeah. And so like, where's the silver lining? And I tried applying for other jobs, trying to figure that out, especially thought that given like a film background, I could easily slide into some kind of graphic design or marketing.
Yeah.
And then Christmas came by and January was there. I was looking at a new year and I just thought, fuck this, I'm going to go with it. And I still applied for jobs along the way, but
of course.
Especially when we started shooting the movie, I was like, "This is exactly what I'm doing."
Yep.
But for the rest of the cast and crew, they had a survival job, and so it was harder on them in that sense. The turnaround time of shooting.
Shout out the cast and crew, man. That's awesome. Soldiers, that's amazing. Yeah. What's the transition like going from shorts into feature length films?
Well. So my first feature film is called Married and Loving It. Yeah, and it's shot. It's like 5 scenes like put together, the whole movie. So I thought that my mind at the time was like, I can do 10 to 17 minute long short films. What if I just tackle these as like 5 different short films and bundle them together? And so it's not necessarily an anthology but there are still the same characters. We're all in one house.
Right.
But that's how we were going to attack that. And here, I think because like the success of working with BJ and Danielle and also with my wife Brandy when we did Convicts and Frankencock, and I just thought I was like, yeah, we can do this. We just have to prepare for a much larger scale. One pitfall I can admit was that I spent so much time on the marketing of the Indiegogo campaign that like I failed to really prep the movie the way I should have prepped it. And like I'm reading Sidney Lumet's book right now called Making Movies, and he talks a lot about being prepared and preparation, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so there are days where there's days where I have storyboards and the shot list all written out. There are days where it's just in my head. And
it's hard to keep focus on one thing or another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when you're behind the scenes doing it all by yourself. I mean, you have a phenomenal crew. You know what I mean? But it's hard to get those ideas out of your head and be like, okay, I got to do this day, this day, this.
Yeah. And I find that too with like even storyboarding it. So like when I did my short horror comedy Frankencock, like I sometimes I can't vision the movie until I've storyboarded it or written out the shot list.
Right.
But once I've done that, it's like it feels like it's not here anymore. It's like here, it's in my hand, kind of a thing. And so there were times with Left 4 Dead where it's like I was having nightmares of the movie and what it of the scenes as we were going. But then as soon as we'd shoot it, it would just go away. And I'd message BJ and he was like, yeah, I had a nightmare again about it last night too. And so, but now we finished the movie and like I know what that looks like. Before I didn't know what that shot was going to be necessarily. Now I do because we've shot it. Or once I storyboard it, like the weight is kind of off.
The fear of unknowing until it's finally over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you have an IMDb credit as far back as the year 2000. Yeah. So has storytelling always been a part of your life?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I was fortunate in the way of I came to the conclusion of that I want to be a filmmaker at a very early age. So it was like around like 9th grade, there's a moment where they're going to line you up with your counselors at your school. You're going to start mapping out what high school is going to be, and depending if you have a career path idea, that would entail like what classes you want to take and how that's going to lead you into college. And I just didn't want to be one of those people who said, I don't know what I want to be in life and things like that. I thought for a long while I wanted to be like a cop. But it was always kind of like tailored because like, I like Die Hard and I like Dick Tracy and I like this.
Love Dick Tracy.
Yeah, there's moments where I thought, well, like lawyers make a lot of money, and then like regarding Henry, like Harrison Ford's just such a dick. Like I was like, I don't want to be that guy.
But you wanted a plan.
But and there's a time where I thought for sure I was gonna be a fucking spy, man. I thought I was like, I was so into James Bond, like GoldenEye came out just right at the sweet spot time.
Yeah.
And then at the same time I was like, I lose at dodgeball. Like I don't know if I'm dodging bullets is really what I need to be doing.
I think it's a generational thing. Like I remember wanting to be a cop at some point too.
Yeah.
You never hear kids say that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like being a spy. That sounded like it was going to be the shit. I was like, for sure, I'm going to be doing shit like that. And then I get older and I'm like, yeah, nobody wants to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So you wanted a plan. Thought you were going to be a cop.
And then it just hit me that like one of the things that I really love to do is just watching movies and kind of learning movies. And there was again a big James Bond fan, and I knew the director of all the movies, and I knew what year they came out, and I would find myself like going to the video store. This is like I'm like 10, 12, that kind of age. Like I go to like the Hollywood Video Blockbuster, and they would have like that big stack of the encyclopedia before there was IMDb, and everything was like printed, and it came out as a new volume every year. And I would just like open it up. I was like, Metro came out with Eddie Murphy. Yeah. And I was like, well, that was fucking amazing. And I just opened it up, and it's like, oh, there's like Beverly Hills Cop and The Golden Child and Trading Places, and there's these comedy specials, and that would kind of like. So if like I saw Beverly Hills Cop 2 and I'm like, well, who directed that? It's like, oh my God, he directed Last Boy Scout, Top Gun, and
I remember that. They used to have that book hanging there. It reminded me of like when you go look for auto parts in Walmart. Yeah, it was like dangling off the. Yeah, I remember that. That's fucking old school.
So it just kind of hit me, and when I look back now a lot more too, I remember I thought I saw Psycho, like in the 6th grade or something like that, and like. I loved it so much that I would dress as the mother for Halloween.
Hell yeah.
Because I thought that, and when you go back in the day, like the Smiths near my house, they used to have video stores inside the grocery store.
I remember that.
So it was like Tuesday was rent one, get one. And so I'd always get like a James Bond movie, and then I couldn't figure out what else to get. So I just rent Psycho, and I'd watch it over and over. And I thought for sure in the 5th grade, I was writing Psycho 5.
Hell yeah.
But not thinking I'm a writer.
Right.
By any means, I just thought that I just loved it, and I thought it was really fun, and I was just doing it for the shits of it.
Emulate it.
But it never occurred to me that like, oh, you could be a writer, and like that would be a living or something that you do. That all coming together back then, suddenly it just hit me. I was like, I think I'm a fucking filmmaker, and I'm going to tell the counselor like I want to be a filmmaker, and then that kind of opened up because it was great because the high school has video classes, and jump right in. So that summer I bought a camera, so I had a camera ready, and
it was called AV Club back then.
Yeah.
In our school. Was that the same thing? Something like that.
Audio Visual Club. Yeah. But in the only access, and this is like, you hear Spike Lee or like Kevin Smith now say, the only way we could get access to film equipment was to join the film program. And now it's a lot different. But even then, it was like the only way to access editing program, like software, was to go to the high school.
Yeah.
And do there. So there's times where to edit something in high school, I'd have to stay. The teacher who absolutely hated me, but he would let me just stay at night and stay until the janitors kicked me out so I could just edit on the Avid and whatnot.
That's cool. So you've been doing it since high school, at least. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Frankencock. Okay.
I can talk all day.
Frankencock is a horror comedy, right?
It is a horror comedy.
You won an award for that it's called Smodfest.
Smodcastle.
Smodcastle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Frankencock's done really well for a movie with about a puppet penis in a sense. Like,
I love it.
So we Brian Higgins, who runs the Filmlite film festival out in Salt Lake, he also was the one who runs the Carbon County one as well, or at least he's part of it with the Utah Film Commission in some kind of way. Every year there's like what used to be called Dark Cinema Horror Festival, and so
I know that. Yeah.
So my team would always jump in and we'd make a few films, and so I had gone the year prior to when I made Frankencock. So this is like 2022, and I had done another movie called Moon's Blood, and it was a werewolf story, but he pops up only when a girl's like menstruating. And so and Sean Gordon did an amazing job with like this werewolf costume. BJ Wimpy is the Wolf Man, and loved it so much. And I thought we were gonna kill that year. I was like, for sure, we are going to be sweeping this.
Why wouldn't you? That sounds amazing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And then there was another moment where Brandon Young, who I also met in high school, he's local to, well, at least I was going to say Ogden, so he's local to Utah.
Nice.
For sure. Him and I went to the same high school, though. But and he's also one of our backers on Left 4 Dead.
Oh, cool.
But he had a fantastic short film called Haunted, and so his team swept the awards that year. And the next year around, I just wasn't sure if I wanted to jump in it again and do it. But it was being pitched. It was a 3D movie, and I thought I'd been toying around with this idea of like Frankencock. I used to have like, I really kind of tuned out of Tim Burton movies a long time ago because it just felt like he wasn't as original as everybody says he is.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And then by then he's like remaking his own short film into like a feature.
I swear to God, like when they're like, oh, we made the connection between Jack Skellington and his other, what's the damn Vincent character, and I'm like, it's the same damn film.
Yeah,
it's just rewriting.
Yeah,
shit.
And so. And I was like, I don't know, he's got that movie coming out. Fucking Frank's this, Frankencock
or some shit.
Yeah, it is Frankenweenie.
Oh, is it?
I've later seen the movie. It's really good. But like at the time, I just said Frankencock, and then it suddenly hit me. I was like, damn. I was like, I'm gonna hold on to that one.
Yeah.
So years go by, back to kind of where I was at with. So there's gonna be 3D fests, and I thought, well, I'm gonna stick that dick in everyone's face, not worry about what the politics of our time are or anything like that. It's gonna yell at you, it's gonna shoot at you, it's gonna do all those things, and
I fucking love it.
We ended up sweeping like 5 of the 11 awards out of that particular season.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And then it's gone on to travel the globe, like submitting to. We've played a lot in California. And overseas, just even recently, it was so now Frankencock's 2023, I think, and even just last weekend it was in there's a festival in London called Horror by the Sea.
That's dope as hell.
And it was out there as well. And then somebody saw it there, and they have another festival called the Butt Film Festival. They emailed me and said, "Hey, here's a discount code. We saw it at Horror by the Sea.
We want it in our
festival. We want it in theirs, yeah."
That's dope.
And then with Smodcast. So that's Kevin Smith's film festival.
Oh, shit.
And so he owns that's his like cinema that he went to when he was a kid, and he owns the theater.
Congratulations, that's amazing, dude.
Yeah, so I had submitted the year prior, but it was more of like an all genre festival, and I submitted Frankencock, and we didn't get in, and I was kind of really bummed out. I was like, that feels like it could just, because to me, it's like, it's my Tusk, like in a sense. And so we didn't get in. A year goes by, and they open up a horror fest, and I'm like, shit. Should I submit the same movie? So I was like, yeah, fuck it. I threw in Frankencock, got in.
Hell yeah.
I flew out to New Jersey. I'd never been there, and I visited the Quick Stop store as well, where they shot Clerks.
I saw that.
Clerks and Clerks 2.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
I took a Frankencock sticker and I slapped that bitch where all the other stickers are on the doors and around there. And the guy who works at the Quick Stop was like, he's like, Smodcastle Cinema is only like 20-minute walk. I was like, shit, man, really? Because I didn't have a car.
That's
so
fake,
I was like,
dude. Yeah.
Well, I was already going there for the festival, but I knew I'd stop off at the Quick Stop.
Right.
And it turns out it's actually a 40-minute walk. But I made it.
Lied.
Yeah. And when I got there, people recognized, because I'm in the movie as well. And the first question was like, "Did you bring him? Did you bring the dick?" And I did. I brought Frankencock with me in my carry-on.
Like I don't leave home without.
Yeah. And what I found out later is that some of the people who were the judges on the film, they were producers for the Terrifier series.
Oh shit.
They worked some of them worked on special effects, some of them worked on makeup, some of them were producers of the series. And what I also found out is that they loved Frankencock. They were like, dude, we were passing that shit around like in an email chain. It was just going around in circles with them. They're like, you gotta see it. Like the guy who was producing Terrifier was like, I saw the list of movies, and he's like, oh shit. He's like, that one right there. Just immediately, it was like love at first sight is what he said. And with film festivals, one of the great things is you got to network and
Absolutely.
you got to meet all these new people. And then fortunately, we walked away with Best Horror Comedy. And there was a lot of great movies that came out of that festival. Some that were from LA, and they had these one guys they had shot on the Universal Studios like backlot.
Right.
And so there's some really cool films.
Smoked them.
But we were lucked out.
Yeah.
And so I have it's a trophy. It's about yay big, and it's a tusk. It's a walrus skull with the teeth and everything, and
That's
cool.
sick, dude.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
That's
man.
amazing.
Appreciate it.
So you do star in your films, or not? You act in your films. Did you star or cast yourself in the Left 4 Dead film?
I did. Yeah. There's it plays two hands. I mean, one of it maybe it's a little bit my own ego, kind of. I want to be in it.
It's your film, man. You gotta,
But like with Frank and Cock, and even Wolfman, I'm really playing a reoccurring character that a friend of mine, he directed another short film for the same film festival that Brian Higgins puts on.
Oh, cool.
And so I just started playing this character called Detective Chaz, and we kind of just kept it going. So that's also part of it. Another
like an anthology.
Yeah, like another Detective Chaz movie. Like, let's go. And then, like when I did Married and Loving It, I thought, well, there's two reasons. One is I don't know when I'll have a chance to act in a feature film.
Right.
And I'm making one, so I might as well give myself one of the parts.
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, I don't have to pay I won't have to, like cuts one person out, I don't have to pay.
Yeah.
So it's a budget thing.
Do you feel like you're like, I know this character better than any other actor could know this character type of thing?
Yeah. Well, with Married and Loving It, because there's a lot of similarities to a marriage that I went through.
Right.
And so for that one, like there are some scenes, there's some pieces where it's like I pulled from these friends that were married, and maybe it's like, maybe it didn't exactly go down like that. It's kind of like, it's an Aaron Sorkin film that he wrote, Danny Boyle did, with Fassbender plays the Apple guy. Anyways, I love the movie. I can't believe I'm forgetting the thing, but he kind of admits like all those conversations happened. They just didn't all happen in that time, in the moment, kind of thing. And so for Married and Loving It, the pieces that I took were like I said that shit.
Yeah.
To that person, but the person's now an actress and whatnot. So that was that. With Left 4 Dead, it was also the idea was I was like, we're gonna go out into the desert, we're gonna shoot. It's gonna be hot, and it's one less person I have to worry about.
Right.
Because like I know I can handle it, and I know that then I'm not trying to. I don't have to convince some other person besides BJ. I knew BJ would do it, but I don't have to convince another person to like fall through the dirt, roll on their back.
You can push yourself harder than you'd push someone else.
Yes, exactly. Because like sometimes for me with cinema, it's like it's all for the cinema gods.
Yeah, I'll do anything.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's not really a moral. I have kind of a lax moral flexibility when it comes to that. So
I get you.
Yeah.
That's what it takes sometimes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. The Ogden's Big Lebowski Festival. You host and created it.
I did, yeah. One of my favorite films is the Big Lebowski.
Same. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's oddly full of like eclectic characters. It wasn't like a massive hit when it came out. It's kind of found its following, much like any other cult film kind of does.
Took some time to get its feet going.
Yeah, for sure. And there was a time when the Blu-ray was being released, first time on Blu-ray. Friends and we all got together. We did a house party, dressed up as the characters, and the entire time we were like, "We've got to do this. Like, how can we do this?" And so I had just joined a board of directors for the Egyptian Theater downtown in Ogden, and we're looking for events to kind of host and maybe bring in raise a little bit of money. And I pitched them the Big Lebowski Fest, and we that was 13 years ago. I mean, we've kind of been doing it ever since. So I mean, we've been able to find people. Last year, one of our biggest years, just a little bit over 500 people. So we're getting the seats 800, that theater. So we're getting closer and closer to selling it out.
That's amazing.
And we have people come in from like Arizona and Idaho and kind of other places too.
So it's getting spread out. It's getting awareness outside of just Utah. That's awesome.
And
man.
we have
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. And then we have a lot of community partners that also help sponsor the event as well. So like Storm Bowling, which is in Brigham City, Utah, like they've always offered us some kind of prize to give away. So it's usually like a bowling ball.
Nice.
We'll find some kind of in-kind donation of money that we can buy for like a rug that's a prize giveaway as well. Places like Lavender Vinyl, Harp and Hound, Funk and Dive, they always chip in. The Lab as well has chipped in. So that we always have like prizes to kind of give away, and And I don't know. I know that economically for Ogden, we're not the tent pole that's like holding the city up.
Right.
But I do think that when you flood an area for one night with 500 extra people that may have stayed home,
it has to increase it. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. At some point, you're going to find like a flux of income coming in because they're going to eat it. They're going to stay at our hotels. They're going to eat at the restaurants, and then they're going to go and wine and dine themselves in the after party at one of the bars downtown.
Dude, 500 people is no small feat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's amazing, man.
I appreciate that. Thank
Hell
you.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. I love the Big Lebowski. We are nihilists.
Yeah.
We care about nothing. Yeah, I love it. With your feature film, Left for Dead, did anything go wrong on set or with the experience in whole that made the film better?
It made it better. Well, I think there's a lot of things that went right. There's a lot of things that, like any film, though, there's so many different things that are going to go wrong, and it's going to be, you guys know, it's a challenge. Like the batteries are out. We forgot something. Like at one point, my DP, Brad Kendrick, and a fantastic DP. I mean, every frame is a painting, really, in this movie. I mean, he really elevated the value of the film.
Nice.
And I knew right when I first had the phone call with him, I knew I was like, we're gonna go far. I could just tell that we just jived. We just knew we were speaking the same like language and that shorthand that we could get. And so that was a ton of fun. And then Sean Gordon's also the makeup effects artist for this film as well. So the four of us, BJ Wimpy, Brad Kendrick, and Sean Gordon, and I, we spent 4 days in southern Utah. We went to Monument Valley and Kanab and Green River. So it's
beautiful,
like just rented a truck and packed it and head down there. Stayed in just like 4 guys in a hotel room and shooting a movie during the day, and then traveling to the next like spot at night, and crashing and doing it again. So there's a lot of movie that's a mix of like southern Utah locations, and then film the rest of it here, kind of in the Davis Weber County, like up in not Beaver, Deweyville as well.
Oh, Deweyville.
And so
nice.
and kind of like mask some of those locations as the southern Utah kind of part of it. I mean, one thing that was kind of clear is we were about a week or two away from making the trip down to Monument Valley. I'm trying to scout these locations by just using Google Maps and like kind of going like, I think we can get here, I think we can go here, this kind of stuff. It became pretty obvious that maybe the confidence in then everybody is starting to crack a little bit.
Right.
And when that happens, you just kind of take this bull by the horns. And so within like a 24-hour thought process, my wife and I decided that we were going to just go ahead and make the trip and go down on our own. So my car was in the shop, so I borrowed a car from my dad, and I put 2,000 miles on that bitch driving there.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, we did 3 days in all those locations to like drive there, scope it out, see what we're gonna film. And actually, it turned out to be, it was monumental because then now I'm taking these other guys with me, and they have to trust that I know what we're going to do. There are parts of it I wasn't 100% sure. I was still kind of like, this looks cool. Because the thing with you're shooting a movie is entirely set outside. So 99% of the movie is outside. So there's any location is almost perfect. There's 1,000 different spots in Utah you could film. You have to make that decision to like where you
as long as they look similar to each other.
Or just will this do, or can we get access to it? Right. And I know this is far from the question, but like one of the locations that we shot at, because my other thought, I started reading this book that was like, so that was a couple of the other things was like, before shooting the movie, there's 2 influences that weren't necessarily in the script. But once we started prepping the movie, suddenly these influences just like ran. Yeah. And it was, I rewatched Once Upon a Time in the West by Sergio Leone. Yeah. And I was like, wow. I was like, I want to have some of these elements that he puts in that movie in our movie. And then at the same time, I was reading a book that was when film came to Utah.
100 years ago. Yeah.
100 years ago, yeah.
It was a centennial last year, wasn't it? Or this year.
It was like
last year?
2 years ago, I think.
Something like that.
And so I started reading that book, and I was going like, this location is awesome. I was like, what if we shot in the same fucking locations that they went? We got to go to Monument Valley now. Because before I was like, we'll drive out to Wendover.
Right.
Now I'm thinking like, we're gonna go down to Monument Valley. We're gonna go shoot there. So those are some like off the cuff pieces, and I'm start making changes.
Classic
but I still
Western
got like
scenes, by the way.
But if anybody's seen the Once Upon a Time in the West, at the end of the movie, there's these arches that are set up, and there's these two kids. One of them's hanging by a noose. Peter Fonda is there. It's kind of the catalyst of the movie. It kind of reveals how Charles Bronson and Peter Fonda like know each other from another time.
Right.
And that location is one of the few locations they did shoot in Utah. That location is out in Monument Valley. You just got to go off the road a little bit.
Sick.
But we found it, and we shot a scene from our movie in that same spot.
Paying homage to.
And there's still like these cement tracks from when they put down when they ran their dolly
That's
in
awesome.
that spot, and that was 1968 or something like that. So it's pretty cool in
That's
that
incredible.
sense. But as far as things that went kind of wrong, I mean, there's times where it's like the finale of our movie, we secured that location maybe 48 hours before we got it.
Right.
Like it was coming down to like we were thinking
Down to the wire.
Yeah, we were thinking Helper, but then that weekend Helper had a festival that they're going to do. They were down for us shooting blanks and stuff in the streets. We'd already contacted the city. It was actually the only thing we had the permit for. So that's the other thing is like a lot of these lands. Like there was a ghost town out in Frisco. I reached out to Beaver County, but by the time they got back to me,
it was already too late.
I already shot it. Yeah. So I already went out there and filmed the movie. Like
the bureaucratic red tape.
I can't wait we can't wait 4 months for shooting the movie now.
Seriously.
So, and with Helper, we actually had some of that stuff ironed out, but it was just it was not going to be the right weekend.
They were letting you fire blanks in town in Helper?
The police were aware that we were going to do it. It was going to be at night.
Shout out Helper. That's awesome.
Yeah, they were down for like having, because once it gets like close to dark, that you can kind of like shut off the streets better and stuff, and so they're all for it. But we're running into a time constraint. BJ Wimpy's a working actor, and he's already committed to doing. He just wrapped up doing Frozen at the Hill Center Theater. So like,
oh really?
Now,
that's cool.
Yeah. But like his look is gonna have to change.
You're right.
And how much more time do we have with him? So we're really butting up against like the time of like we've really got only this much time, and I guess things that went wrong. It was also the time and play. Like there's a lot of fires going on, like Utah, California, things like that, and I guess there's a way to do an open fire pit where it's actually just a propane tank and it's just giving the flames. But we shot under with firewood and stuff like that, and so like there's one scene in the movie that's a fight scene. It was supposed to be one night. It took us 3 nights because the first time the wind was just blowing so much, it was basically blowing the fire out into the fields, and that's like the last thing that we want to do is like, I mean, we want the movie to be known, but I don't want to be known for like burn
the county down.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so there was those kind of things where it was like, and then another night we went to go shoot it, and we just realized that because we've been shooting all day, that we just were not where we needed to be energy wise, and we were also butting up against time.
Right.
Like that's
exhausted, stressed, fighting the clock.
Movie is economics. The economics of movies is time, time and money. And the more money you have, the more time. The less money you have, the less time. So like we, there was this night we had to call a hard stop and then reevaluate what we shot, what we did shoot. So when we came back to shoot that same scene, it was like this shot needs to be redone and that shot needs to be done. Like we just were dragging too much ass because we'd been shooting.
That way you don't redo it blind, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But we'd also like we just retired. I mean, it is and BJ takes the brunt of it because he's in every scene in the movie. Yeah. And in almost every scene, also, it's like, okay, so you're gonna come in here, you're gonna trip, you're gonna roll over it all, you're gonna fall on these rocks, just stumble on all that. Yeah. Anyways,
just working him to death.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Pretty much. So that was probably, let's see. I mean, another thing, and I have to say this because I got to plug this person in here somewhere. So, and then another probably thing that came very, very early on was that when we did Convicts and Chocolate, like Ryan McDonald was directing the movie. I'm her first AD. Everything for the most part went smooth. I mean, we bicker like because we are a married couple. Sure. So like, it's kind of like mom and dad are fighting, but we're on set kind of thing. But then when the role was reversed and we went to go shoot our first day, Brandy looked at me and I was like, okay, so the first AD, and she's like, well, I'm your first AD, and I was like, yeah. I thought that's what we were gonna do, and it became clear that it was like this isn't working in that sense because we're like if you walked up to me and told me, hey Ryan, you got about 10 more minutes, I'd be like, all right, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
When she comes up and walks up to me and says, hey Ryan, you got 10 more minutes. I know I got 10 minutes. Okay, I'm trying. All right. And so we had just met a new contact doing the movie nights that I do over at Funk and Dive, and her name's Tiana Chavez. And speaking with her, understanding her industry experience, and it was like, maybe we should bring her on board. And so it's been a godsend since as well. So we brought her on as a first AD. Let Brandy go do the producing stuff, and fantastic producer. She's able to grab all the locations. But Tiana has awesome. Really like spearheaded this program, and then really at this point, she's been our post-production supervisor as well. Like she secured us access to even more contacts that we didn't have before. Well, the other obstacle that we ran into is like half the movie takes place at night.
Right.
And I had originally thought we would shoot it day for night. But when you have real like fire, and then the blanks actually like a mist, like they have a color, so it's like, well, maybe we can't do day for night. We actually have to shoot night for night.
Night for night.
But now we need the lights, and so having bringing Tiana on, we were able to get another contact who had worked for Redmond and was able to get us light kits so that we could shoot now the movie at night.
That's incredible.
And so
she ended up helping out tremendously.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
now she's also secured us our sound stage as well that we're doing all our ADR in. So
hell yeah. Shout out to her name's Tiana Chavez, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shout out Tiana Chavez.
Yeah.
Monument Valley is a great backdrop for that, actually. Yeah. You provided us with the teaser trailer, which we will check out now.
In my world, there is no law, no society, no family, no love. In my world, there is no one to stop you from being hunted.
That was incredible. When is the public going to be able to get their hands on this film?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. No. So we're still in the middle of post-production right now. So we are wrapping up the movie as quickly as we can. We want to try to start hitting the festival season as quickly as we can as well. Do I think that it has a market for the film festivals here in Utah? Absolutely. I mean, it's staged here in Utah. It's 100% a Utah crew, Utah actors worked on this film. And then there was even a point where, I mean, just on the Arizona side of Monument Valley, there's some cool spots, but I was like, no, this has to be 100% Utah.
100% homegrown.
So, yeah, so it's in that area. But it's really kind of depends. So our goal is to hopefully be wrapped up by the end of March, kind of going into April. But as far as when people can see it, it's going to be, hopefully it travels around in the festival circuit, and I can kind of be like, hey, if you're in Chicago, it's happening this weekend. Hey, if you're in Southern Utah, it's happening this weekend. Like, now's the time to see it. I mean, like anybody who's making the movie, our goal hopefully is to find it onto some kind of either video on demand service or
like a distribution platform.
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely love it if it could be where I could order a physical copy of the movie still. So
that'd be amazing. Yeah. Can they follow you on social media or anywhere so that they can keep up and so they know when the film comes out?
So they know when the film comes out. Yeah. So our Instagram is Left 4 Dead Feature Film. So at Left 4 Dead Feature Film. You can follow me at ryan.mcdonald.filmmaker on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. Also, our production company is New Ogden Cinema, so you can find us at New Ogden Cinema as well, where we'll be posting everything we post about Left 4 Dead goes on there. But also, like I said, I host a movie night downtown in Ogden as well.
At Funk and
Dive, yeah.
That's awesome.
Every Monday night. And as well as if you're into the Big Lebowski, it's at Ogden Big Lebowski Fest. So
that's phenomenal. You guys follow Ryan McDonald everywhere. Thank you so much for joining us on our first episode ever of Filmlite Media's podcast.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, appreciate it very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's been incredible.
Reaching out.
I am your Uncle Opie of Utah Doesn't Exist, UDX. This has been the first episode ever of Filmlite Media's podcast. Thank you guys for joining us.